All right, welcome to No Competition Podcast. It's Leiah, and this is Liz.
Hey.
And today we are talking about Liz and the life behind where she is, where she was, and is now.
Yep.
That
We're going
thing.
through the whole thing.
Yes. As much as we can in how many minutes?
26.
Perfect.
At least to start.
All right. All right, Liz. Tell us all about it. Where'd you come from? What got you here?
Okay, so I am from Newport, Rhode Island.
Ooh.
Yep. And when I graduated high school, I was kind of a nomad and moved all over the place to Scottsdale and DC and Boston. And yeah, I wound up in DC and then came here from there. And I've never looked back because I really like it here.
It is pretty cool here.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Yeah.
So how would you say you were in high school? Granted, you moved all these places, but in high school, like, were you a band geek? Were you, like, an athletic person? Like...
I was definitely not a band geek. I have no musical talent whatsoever. Yeah. I think my daughter got all of that.
Yeah,
she can,
so did my
actually
kid.
Keep a beat, and there's no hope. But I was totally artsy, and I was an athlete. I played volleyball. I played junior Olympic volleyball.
Wait,
actually.
what?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
It's cool. It was cool. And I did swim and soccer and all of the things. So
That's pretty
it was a good
cool.
time.
Yeah. So after high school, when you got to Virginia Beach, how old were you when you got to Virginia Beach?
It was 2006. So 23.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, and then you started hair school when? Like, right?
Shortly after. It was like, I worked at Geico for a hot minute and had no idea what to do with my life at 24. And then my mom kept trying to talk me into going to hair school because like I kept helping people with their hair with like box dye.
Yeah.
And horrific haircuts. And my mom was like, you should go, like, I don't think she knew Paul Mitchell was here, but she kept trying to encourage me to go to hair school. And I was like, I'm not 16 and pregnant. I'm not doing that. Like, I was such a dick. And then 9 months later, I was like, hey, Mom, I had this awesome idea.
It was all mine.
I signed up for Paul Mitchell. And she was like, cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
It didn't make you do that or talk you into it or anything.
Yeah. But hair school was weird because I went into it older. Like,
True.
Not looking back older because I was still an infant, but everyone else was so much younger. And I felt like that kind of gave me a leg up, so to speak, just because I wasn't doing the same thing that everyone else was doing.
Not the party life or whatever.
So that helped me just really focus on all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate for saying that, like, you get out of hair school what you put into it. And
I don't believe that.
if you don't put anything into it, then you're not getting very far. At least that's what my experience was. But I'm also super extra.
Yes.
And have to be like.
Yes. And you're extra in that way, and I'm extra in a totally other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you come in here and see all of our prints.
Yeah. With our extras combined.
We, Captain Planet.
Captain Beauty.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say hair school went for you and like giving you, like after hair school, what happened? Like were you went from hair school, did you go straight into a salon and start working for yourself or like booth renting, or did you go in?
I did. I was part of both schools because, like the Rudy and Kelly that was old and falling apart, and then
couldn't blow dry at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like the size of this room. But then whenever we moved into the big one, that was like where all the excitement happened because John Paul DeJoria and Win Playball and everyone was coming for the grand opening. And it was rad because like I had the pleasure of doing like a whole slideshow and welcoming them. And extra.
She was a teacher's pet, aka
yeah.
You were.
It's fine. I will admit it. And it's okay. It turned out lovely, first of all. And they were super appreciative. But
damn right.
Shortly after that, I got recruited from a salon that I was like totally down for. They were probably my top pick of where I wanted to apply, and they recruited me even before I could apply. And I was like, I am amazing. This is going to be great.
So ready for the world.
Awful. Not only because like I was just starting out, so I didn't know shit. Like everyone thinks.
We think we do.
Oh yeah.
we totally think we do.
We know all the things. We don't. We have zero experience. And so that combined with the fact that they were assholes and, you know, like...
It's like the worst to experience that right out of hair school.
It's true. But I think I will always... The two salons that I worked in, one was like privately owned and the other one was corporate. And I think that with how successful everything is now, I can absolutely attest all of my success to both of those experiences. Like everything that I do that goes well is like handpicked from the corporate side of things, and then everything that I vehemently will never do was handpicked from my horrible experience.
Because you know you don't want to do that. It's kind of like relationships. Like you learn from your past what you don't want.
Yes.
But still, it's the same thing. Like you learn, and as far as you've come, you've learned obviously all of these things, which have helped you create. Well, we got to go back. We're not at D&D yet.
That's true. Right. So,
okay.
So I left that one salon and I went to the corporate salon and I fell in love right away. Like it was this tiny little hole in the wall in the mall. And
is this the one I worked at too?
No.
Oh.
No. I will totally say I worked at Bubbles and I was proud of it.
Wait, oh my god, I wanted to work at Bubbles.
I loved it because they always came to hair school and like talked about all the things.
It made it like so cool.
Yeah.
I never got a job there.
Oh girl. I was on the like the Hair Wars team. I competed in DC.
What?
Yeah. Like,
so rad.
It was so cool. I had so many great experiences there. And but
jealous though, because I did not get to work at Bubbles. I applied, but did not get the job.
They're such a good company. They closed the one that's here, but they're still up in DC.
I was an asshole in the beginning, so I get it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's totally fair. I enjoyed my time there, but as things progressed and I had kids, like I had them back to back, and so with that came a lot of like maternity leave and then losing clients because I was gone and then gone again. And so even in hair school, I knew that I loved doing updos. Like that was my thing. And I think a part of my subconscious held on to the fact that one of the higher ups in school was like, you're not going to make any money doing updos. You should probably practice color. And I was like, all right.
I remember that. I'll show you.
Yeah. So after my children were like an infant and 11 months, I was like, this is a great time to start a business. This seems
Let's
perfect.
go.
Yeah. And so I think it was maybe only 4 months that I had Hair and Makeup by Liz. And I had like this little dinky website and
Can you tell me what your caboodle looked like?
No.
I have this thing about caboodles.
I know. Oh, I know you do. That's a story for another time.
Okay, go.
I had like a chair and a mirror in my dining room, and I had a few clients that would come to my house, which was horrific. But God love them because they were still
those are the people that keep us alive and keep us in the game. I feel
like ride or die, which I appreciate. But 4 months in, I was promoting myself as doing weddings and trying to keep it as cohesive as possible. Like I taught myself how to do makeup because it makes sense to do.
And you're artistic, so it works.
Yeah, exactly. And I paint and all that stuff. So I was like, I can do this. This is fun.
Yeah.
And I will never forget this. This woman called me up and she was like, my daughter's getting married sometime and I came across your website and we want to book you. And I was like, what?
Throw up? Wait, what? This is real?
So she was calling me from Israel and she had this bride and her daughter. And fast forward to today, this Jewish family I have been doing since 2011. I have done like 7 weddings for them. I do all of their hair still. And so it's
family.
The reason. Yeah. They helped and they started it. And so
that's so cool.
It's so cool.
So cool.
I love them so much. They're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that initially like got me out of my house and I was working hand in hand with like a few vendors and making relationships with like wedding planners and venues kind of. I feel
like you went pretty fast.
I did. I was like, I have these 2 children and I have to get out of this
horrific
relationship that I'm in. And so dove head first. And yeah. So I started doing bridal shows and
her shit was so cool at all the bridal shows. I hated her.
Extra.
hated her.
I was the asshole that laminated my freaking projects.
Your shit was nice. Like,
Yeah.
I would go in with some doors, like I've talked about before, and Liz is over here with couch and, like, drapery.
I was like, we can do this. Let me get my U-Haul real quick and move my entire salon out. Oh, my God.
It was so cute and so worth it, though. Like, I don't know. I mean, I look at you now, and it's, like, so cool what you've created. So, and before that, you had Behind the Veil, which I was jealous of, too.
That actually came about because of Jennifer Lalonde, so to speak. Like, she had this space on Bird Neck, and she asked me to come meet a bride because she was introducing me to, like, do hair and makeup. And the bride was a little bit late, and so she and I just shooting the shit. Yeah, maybe. It's fate. But Jen and I didn't really know each other that well yet, and she's, like, showing me around her shop and all this stuff. And she was like, what do you think? And I was like, I think I need to go soon. Like, where's the bride?
I'm on a timeline here.
Yeah,
What's happening?
She's like, I got this thing, and I gotta move out, and I need somebody to sublet, so you shouldn't work out of your house anymore. And I was like, wow. But that's Jen for you. Yeah. And I was like, there's no way, not on your life.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I was signing the lease, and
hell yeah, jump into it.
History. Yeah.
Kind of feels like how I do things. I'm surprised that you jumped.
Oh, I'm a big jumper.
You're a jumper, but you're also a thinker before you're a jumper. You're the one that keeps me from jumping.
Because you're me 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, let's do this.
I've seen this before. Let me help you with
Let me calm you
mistakes.
down, Leah. Do not jump off the ledge.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of learning everything the hard way.
Yeah.
So I'm here for you.
But it's got you where you are.
Like, oh, for sure.
And so you signed your lease, and you opened up a pretty bomb. Like, you did hair and weddings in there, right?
We did, yeah. We did, I think 50-something weddings for the first year, which
to me seems like a lot, but watch huge. What she tells you now.
No, it was huge. And it was just 3 of us. I had, like, a business partner for a short amount of time, and then we had another third person in there that was renting a chair and then helping with the weddings. And 50 was a good, I mean, that was like
good.
1 or 2 a weekend, and that rocks. But the next year, we booked 285 or 286, and I was like, we need a bigger boat.
What are we gonna do?
So, yeah, it was wild. I think I blacked out for this whole period, because, like, I had little tiny babies and a salon, and then I took over the other unit next to us, and then had 10 employees. And I was just like, this is fine.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
I just got, like, goosebumps when you said 10 employees.
Yeah, like, legit employees. None of this contractor easy shit that we do now, but, like, employees. And I hired them straight out of school for the most part. Excuse me. And, that was still the way to go, because they
were eager to learn.
They were eager to learn. I didn't have to break, like, crap habits, and we already knew the philosophy of, like, where they were coming from and how they were taught, so it was just an easier transition. But that was too much. Like, everything was going south very quickly with the relationship between my business partner and I. I think it was only 15 months. 15 months tops, and I was like,
this isn't working.
Time for a change.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I was heavily into my divorce, or the start of my divorce. And so it was like 2 divorces at the same time.
Let's kill it.
Yeah, it's fine.
2 birds with 1 stone.
And going back to, like, the whole blacking out, there, I woke up and I was like, everything's fine now. But we ended up having to shed a lot of fat. Like, once I made it through to the other side of all of that, I closed down Veil Studios, and then
I remember Googling and being like, where is she?
Yeah.
It was gone.
It had to be gone. Because I was like, if I'm going to save anything, it's going to be Behind the Veil. Like, all this shit has to go. But it was a perfect end, because it stopped where it needed to stop. I had a couple girls that wanted the space and already worked there. And so I sold it to them. I was like, you guys can
pretty rad
make all this happen. And then I went back to, like, my little original OG Sweet G and rocked that out for another year or so.
Oh, I didn't know you had an in-between. Okay.
Yeah, it was, that entire interim was, like, the middle of 2018 to...
I feel like that's when I noticed you, like, growing again. Like, I feel like you had your thing and you were super cute, you were out there, and then all of a sudden I feel like there was, like, this turn that I saw on social media of you, like, actually really loving yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I think was that in between there where you kind of started finding yourself again?
Yeah, it absolutely was. Because, like, I finally had a schedule with my kids, and I was 100% moved out and done with my marriage. I had, because like for that entire time, personal stuff aside, like I was trying to save a sinking ship with a spoon.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do. So it was either like let it go or drown with it. And so the stress of that alone is enough to make anybody change drastically whenever you come to the other side. And I think because the momentum was so fast and dramatic, like it usually is, for me anyway, like I didn't even stop to reflect. I wasn't even saying like oh, this is like light at the end of the day. It was none of that. It was like, all right, fuck yeah, like what's the next thing? I found a new space, let's build that. Like
let's go.
Yeah. And so I think the first time that I've actually slowed down is, when we had to shut down for that whole pandemic thing.
She was forced to slow
like,
down.
What do you mean? I can't keep working. But even then, I was like, let's open a spa. Jeremy, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was fun.
Let's do that too.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
It was wild, but a really good trip.
Yeah, and it got you to D&D, Darling and Dapper, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny how that name came about, actually, because with, I had to get rid of my last name. I had to get rid of every last thing that was apart from the children, they gotta stay.
Yes,
but
we love the children.
We love the children. But I got rid of my last name. I got rid of every ounce of stuff that was dragging me down. And so Darling is obviously my new last name. And
I always wondered how that, I was like, why do I not remember that being her last name?
Oh, it wasn't.
So I have to ask, how did you go about that? Because I have clients and friends that'll be like, I can't change my last name without permission. Like, was that a thing?
For, what do you mean?
Like in marriage, if it wasn't in your...
Oh.
Like you can't change your last name back if it's not in your
I didn't ask.
Marriage decree?
No, that okay. My divorce decree was cut and dry as far as stuff like that goes. But when I went to the courthouse, they didn't ask any questions. When I called Social Security, they were like, "Here's your new card." So
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thing. That's good to know.
That would be really frustrating if I had to be stuck with that. I'd be like,
one of my clients was telling me not too long ago. She was like, I can't change my last name because it wasn't in our marriage decree or whatever it was, or the divorce decree. And she was like, and I signed it not knowing, and now I'm stuck with this last name. I was like, wait, you have to ask permission? Women have to ask permission to change their name? I was like, no.
Why are we back in the 50s?
Right. Okay, sorry, I had to ask that.
No. Fairly simple. It's like $80.
Cool.
And
$80 and you can change your name? Yeah.
Exactly. I've done it several times. But I started, so the changing of my last name was basically in conjunction with changing the salon name. Two totally separate reasons, but when I started the satellite location in Rhode Island, because I had stylists up there doing weddings, and it was growing and doing well, but then come to find out I couldn't trademark Behind the Veil because there was a company in Maryland also named Behind the Veil, and even though I was first, they trademarked it. So
that's hard. Because
I was first, they didn't have the right to tell me that I couldn't have my name anymore. I just couldn't use it anywhere else, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So it makes zero sense to have another company that does the same exact thing with a different name. Like that doesn't.
Yeah.
So I scrapped the whole thing, created Darling and Dapper, and then trademarked that immediately.
You're like,
and now I can be everywhere. So I started putting all these pieces into play for New England and Florida, and and then the pandemic. And here we are. But it's cool because now I can just focus entirely on this and build the team and do all the things that I've been doing.
Yeah, which sometimes is really good to just hone in on.
Absolutely.
One thing.
Yeah.
I think you would rock it anywhere, but.
It was good for a second, but all the states were doing different things as far as regulations, and I was like, I'm not playing with that.
Yeah, and then everybody has to be certified which I didn't know this for the longest time when I first started doing hair and makeup. You have to be licensed in different states to do hair or makeup, and you have to follow their rules, which is wait, what?
Which makes...
It makes sense.
It doesn't make a huge problem because the people you're hiring are already licensed in that state. But alternatively, traveling is a challenge.
Yes, exactly. People wanting you to come to California to do their wedding, and you're like, wait. I'm not. I am licensed there, but just
getting licensed in California is a bitch. Oh my God.
Yeah. And we're back. So let's talk a little bit about how you went from space A to space B, the smaller space to the bigger space. square footage? Like, how did that go? Finding your space?
Okay. So I definitely I knew that I needed bigger because we had drastically outgrown that little shoebox, but I definitely did not have this in mind. That was like real big.
Yeah.
And
really big.
So I was looking for like 2,000 square feet. Like I wanted to double what I had. And I thought that that was going to be good. And I was going to get like 1 or 2 more booth renters and call it a day. But I ended up getting paired with this brilliant realtor. And she was such a bulldog and just ran everything for me. And I told her what I wanted, and then she would show me shit that I did not want and then would fall in love with, and that's how that goes.
Yeah,
but
of course.
There was a handful of places, and I thought I desperately wanted to be in the Vibe District. Like that was where I belonged. And I'm so glad that I'm not there. Nothing against the Vibe, but
well, especially now.
Well, yeah, I think just being away from the oceanfront and a little bit more subdued, even though traffic is a nightmare here, it's much better.
Also parking.
Parking is good. There was a space that I looked at that had not one parking space, and I was like, I can make it work. Like, why am I trying to make this work? But Chan, Triumph Realty, so good.
Hi. All my friends are like the owners of that place.
Really?
My clients, yeah.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
So she came across this space, and I was overwhelmed. Equally, I loved the light and the air and everything, but it was so big. Like, it is huge.
Yeah.
And there was no way. Like, I was trying, because I can fill a space.
Oh, heck yeah.
But there was so much. And immediately I was like, no, absolutely not. And then she was like, well, make an offer. Just see what he wants to do. And so TI and negotiating and all these things. It's like, I'm timid as shit. At the time. I was
going to say, wait, that's a lie.
At the time. And so I asked for like X amount of dollars to help renovate. And then I asked for like rent abatement. And I was just like, there's no way he's going to go for any of this. And then if he does, then maybe I can work with that.
Yeah.
And so initially he was like, no, because this is prime real estate and blah, blah, blah. And you're asking for way too much. And I was like, all right, cool.
It's a really great location.
Yeah. And so I was like, cool, that's fine, bye. And I looked at like 1 or 2 other places, and I was on set in Williamsburg doing like this 2-day long commercial. And while I was there, I kept getting phone call after phone call. And this is like 3 or 4 weeks after I'd seen the space.
Oh.
So Chanda was like blowing up my phone, telling me he hasn't gotten one offer since me. So how about you come back and take a look at the space? And so I did, and I still ran the numbers exactly the same way. And I was like, I feel good about offering this. I have no idea how to go from here, but if he takes this, then maybe I can work with it. And he did. And so I was like, okay, like keep the vomit to a minimum.
Heart's pounding out of my chest right now.
And so immediately I start going through my roster of people that I know that could potentially want the space or help me or do whatever. And so I had my girls that were sticking with me and moving wherever I went. And then the very first person that came to mind was Kelly, our acupuncturist.
Yes.
Because she has been my acupuncturist for, God, years now. And but she worked out of her house. And I was like, you are such a grown-up and you're too good for this. Like, get the hell out of your house and come hang out with me. And she said yes. And she jumped. And I was so proud of her and so humbled by the fact that she made that decision with you. Me. Like, okay, no pressure. This is fine.
I better not fuck this up.
Exactly. And so I kept going down the list and, like, advertise. I mean, you know, you're doing the same thing right now. But it was terrifying. And then not to mention, like, getting that space to what it is right now, like, in what amount of time? I think I got the keys in August, and then it was done by October, and that is...
Which is insane.
A very tiny
How
amount
big
of
is that
frame.
place again? It's like...
It's just shy of 3,700 square feet. But the funny thing is that I kept adding units to it.
Yes.
So I was like... I want this.
Got this whole building
pretty
much.
And so I kept adding units and then adding more to the rent, which is like growing exponentially at this point. And I'm like, I still don't have booth renters, but I can handle 10 grand.
It's fine. It's fine.
It wasn't fine for a while. I didn't sleep for like 4 months.
Oh.
But God, with the help of Jay, our contractor, and Jeremy and myself, like you know,
You did the
we
damn
did
thing.
it. We did it, and it's still evolving, and I'm still cramming stations
You
in
are.
there, which is so weird.
Literally like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Jeremy was in there hanging.
She needed a new place to live. But yeah, it's constantly evolving, and I think that's my favorite thing about it is I tell
It's growth.
people this all the time. It's like even people that have been there so many times, they always comment on like seeing something new. It's like a museum. Like there's something new to see every time. Mostly because I get bored and I add a bunch of shit. But
that's
also,
where we're a lot alike in that I'm always moving shit or changing it.
yeah, trends change, but mostly I feel like we're trendsetters because like,
Yes.
I get this itch and I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this, and all of a sudden like rustic barbers is like the new
It's
thing,
the
and I'm
new
like,
thing.
of course it is.
I wonder who came up with that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been really fun. So now we have 4 units in this building, which is
Crazy.
So
and
crazy.
So cool.
yeah, I love it.
We just need this one over here.
It's on my list. He knows.
It's like, come on.
we have a
Come
plan.
on. I'll take this one too.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Just
so
come
good.
on. Which is so awesome. And then you let me come in, and I came in as we talked about this in the previous podcast, but you were like, hey, you want to rent a booth? No, I have my own business. Don't want that. And then it was like, well, let me message her and see if she's got a suite.
Yep.
She did. And then, which she was doing something rad with that before the pandemic. Or no,
No, that was like
it was a little bit before that. You were kind of doing it, and then
it was mostly like it was compartmentalized. So there was like I had an office, and then Kelly had her room,
yeah,
and then that vacant room, which is what you ended up taking.
yes,
But because of cryo spa and it making more sense for Kelly to be in a spa
in
setting,
there, yes.
I moved her out, and then
I asked her if I could have it, and she was like, "Sure, maybe one day," but she was really like, "No, Kelly's never moving." And then,
right, and
then cryo spa
yep,
came
within a month.
Seriously,
Which is
it was.
so
I was like, "Wait,
weird.
what?" No,
I was like,
I don't
actually,
want.
yes, I'll just knock down all these walls. So tell me what you want.
And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to knock down some walls and this is going to be super exciting. And then before that, I was like, will you let me run my own business inside of your business? And then we became this, like, I don't know. We grow with each other, with our girls. We both use each other, not use.
Sure,
We use each other. But we
In the
both like
nicest
kind
sense.
of, yeah, we work off of each other really well, and just I feel like magical things happen and people are very intrigued by the space. Not only before I was there, obviously, if you've never been inside Darling and Dapper, you need to see it. It's gorgeous. Like, I love taking my clients over there, like, secretly, just to shampoo them, even if my bowl's not full sometimes, so they can see how rad it is over there. Like, getting shampooed over there is pretty freaking cool. So my clients are like, wait, there's another salon over there. And her clients are always like looking at my door like, wait, what is that?
Yeah, that wasn't here last time I was here.
Yeah.
Well, you should come more often, first of all.
True that.
Yep.
But now we have this like giant family and we've just been growing and growing and growing.
That's kind of how I introduce it to people that whenever I'm looking for booth renters,
Yeah.
or like, it's a weird little family. So if you are dorky and super nice, you'll fit right in. It's cool.
If you...
It's a good selling point.
It really is. And if you're ready to grow, like, we're here to, like, with everything we have going on, we put our heart and soul into growing our girls.
Oh, yeah.
Or boys. We don't have any boys, but we
used
have
to.
Jeremy.
He's growing on his own.
He's growing on his own, but he's still part of the family, you know?
Yep.
But, I mean, it's been magical, like, being over there. I was definitely super scared, and just you having that background of being in places like that, and you knew what I had went through, you're like, all right, I'm gonna let this happen. And now we have this. You have,
Yep.
geez, it's crazy.
So many things. And so many things on the horizon. So when you mentioned, like, the pitch, I appreciate, by the way. Like, yes, come to Darling and Dapper. Everyone should come.
Yeah.
But for those of you who can't or haven't yet, like, we just shot the most epic of commercials.
Dude,
The world's not ready.
I cannot wait
It's
to
so
see
exciting.
that.
So he just told me that it's basically done. We have to reshoot one very tiny little scene, and then once that's in, and he edits, it'll be done. So I imagine within, like, 2.5, 3 weeks.
That's
We'll be
gonna be so cool.
releasing it to the world.
I cannot wait to see it. I don't think I've seen, like, from what you've told me about it, I don't think I've seen anything like it.
I don't think so either, and that's kind of
Her
my thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think with the melange of like hilarity mixed with like the things that you haven't seen before, and then very obviously touching on the fact that we are a salon.
Yes.
There's so many salon commercials that are so drab and lame.
And it's just like, I do your hair.
And then it's a, washing of the hair and then
Yes.
turning around. Like, yes, we've all done that.
Magic.
We know what happens in a salon, but like,
That's
let's
a
talk
reel
about
now.
the good
Yes.
shit. Exactly.
Yes.
So, per the usual, like, it's super extra and very
I
over the top.
cannot wait
Really
to
excited
see
about
it. I walked in that day that they were recording. I did not want to walk in the day they were recording. I got major anxiety because it was a bunch of beautiful women dressed up, and I was like, I can't see anything. I just need a key to the space next door. And I was like freaking out. And you're like in your zone. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I know what that means. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Back away slowly.
Get out. Don't look at anything. But everybody looked so good.
Man.
What I could see. And then the pictures afterwards, I was like, oh, they were so cool. And it just fits. Yeah, like,
It fits.
yeah.
For sure.
Pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. And where will people be able to see that at?
Pretty much everywhere that will take it. I don't think we're gonna do TV. I think TV is not
I don't
only
really watch TV.
nobody watches it, and when they do, it's like DVR'd and you skip through the commercials.
Yeah, we
So
fast forward.
it'll be on YouTube and all of the social media and
Yes.
anywhere that you can put ads.
Way cool.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
If I could turn this like 3-minute video into a billboard, I probably
You gotta
would.
put it on your TV by your station. Can you like do a continuous? Because I'm trying to do that in mine. I don't know how to.
It's a
but
really good idea. I might have to figure that
It
out.
would be pretty rad to have that like playing in like the loop of
Yeah.
your cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, anything else we can think of that made you who you are today?
Oh my
Wait,
gosh, so
hold
many
on.
things. Yeah.
I mean, do we want to go into like a little bit about baby Liz to Liz now? Liz now, what would you tell Liz before hair school or during hair school to prepare her for today?
I think baby Liz is still dramatically different from like baby stylist Liz.
Okay,
So
let's go baby stylist Liz.
baby stylist Liz. I would. It's funny because I know exactly what I want to say, and even looking back, I still think I wouldn't listen to myself because I'm such a stubborn asshole. I think if I were to give myself a piece of advice, and this goes for any business owner, any stylist, anybody in general that has to deal with the general public, and I use the word deal like lovingly, I guess, but the
Sometimes it is dealing.
it
but
is. We love
being
what we do.
honest, yes.
Yeah. So I would absolutely say that, embrace your boundaries. Boundaries are such an important thing that I know myself, like I did not have a speck of boundary because you're so hungry for success, I suppose, but like you are so hungry to get that clientele in and to build it and to not be struggling and to not, like, you want to have your 4 weekers, you want to have your 6 weekers, you want to have the thing. And when you're starting out and you're sitting around like
Reading your
I told
Twilight
you,
Saga.
I read the entire Twilight Saga in like a week and a half because I think I took one client that day, or that week.
And got paid like nothing.
Yeah. And so you're just, you're sitting around and you're waiting, but if you don't put those boundaries in place immediately, it is so much harder to work backwards. Like, I am still doing that. I'm,
you are.
10 years in and trying to remind myself that no is not a bad word.
No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
That is like my
Period.
Yes, my motto. And I agree. Like, I wish I would have told myself that too, because I quit doing hair for 2 different times because of boundaries, you know? So boundaries is a big thing. Do you want to go into a little bit of like maybe an example for maybe somebody new that's watching that wants to step in this hair world or that's in the hair world and is dealing with this, like to give them an example of a boundary and how to...
I think one that I've just recently had to accomplish, so to speak, was just standing up for yourself. When you know that you are not in the wrong and you know that you are literally doing everything that is physically or, like whatever is within your own capacity.
Yes.
And you're being made to feel like it is not only not enough, but not fast enough or not,
Worth
just
it
not
or
enough.
something. Yeah.
You have every right to say, no, like, in fact, this is what I'm capable of and this is what is possible. And here we are, and you can take it or leave it or, make a decision to either change your expectations or hear the professional and what they're saying, like,
yeah,
and take it for what it's worth, because you're here and you're spending money. Like,
you picked me.
Trust me. That's a really big one that I've been dealing with a lot, especially because I'm so busy now. Like,
You don't have time for. You have time, but you don't have time for people to.
I don't have the mental capacity to let myself get bogged down with situations
yes.
like that. And I would often allow it because I care. I mean, that's why we do what we do. Is like we feel so hard and we love so strongly.
We feel so much.
That, like, if we don't feel like we've had a successful day, like, it sucks.
It eats you alive.
It eats you alive. It keeps you up. You go through every last situation in your head.
We talk to each other about it and we're like, I tried everything. I did everything I could.
Yeah.
There's...
It kills you.
It really does.
So I think that's, one of the more recent ones for me. But I think going back, like, building the initial boundaries would be taking a day off. And definitely outlining, like, an actual schedule for yourself. And not just saying, like, well, I know that you want to get in with me and it has to be after work at 6 p.m. on a Friday. But, like, I got to get my kids. But, like, it's okay. I can find a sitter and pay for them to be with a sitter so I can get you it. Like, what? No. Like, there are other stylists that are a little bit more...
Or don't have kids.
That don't have kids or are more flexible. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But when you start getting yourself in that rhythm of constantly saying yes and constantly changing your life around to make their, appointment happen.
Make them happy and...
Yeah.
It's like you give so much to everybody else, then you forget about yourself a little bit. And when you start forgetting about yourself, you kind of start trickling down.
And your work shows.
Yes.
And I noticed that just this last day. I swear to God, I did 57 clients last week. And by the end of the last day, I was just like...
What just happened?
I don't know how to do layers anymore. But
you do.
How do you highlight? Like, I don't even...
There's been a time, I'm pretty sure I walked out to you and was like, if I put this color on, you were like, what color is her hair? And I was like, oh, you're right. Duh. Like, sometimes you just need to, like, you need you time when you're...
I think that was my biggest... that was what I was trying to advise most to all of our staff and stylists right whenever we came back to work after the pandemic or after the shutdown, because everyone was like jonesing to get in. You take a woman's ability to get her hair done away, they are
ruthless. They're like, I don't care. I will be in the parking lot.
Yeah, like, you can blow dry my hair outside. It's raining. I don't care.
Which we did.
We did.
It worked. They didn't care. They blow dry their own hair.
But damn, ever since we reopened, like, it has been balls to the wall, and I've the morale in the salon was just plummeting, and nobody knew why, because we were like, we're making money, we're happy to be back, everything's fine, but why do we feel so terrible? It's like, we're giving and giving and giving, and we have no capability to refill our own cup. Like, there is no vacation right now.
There's no room.
There's no...
Especially because it was so spread out. Like, we were only allowed to take so many at a time.
Yep.
So our whole day might have been 3 clients, but that's your whole day, way less than what you might be used to making. And you're just giving, and then by the time you're off, you're like, wait.
Right. And it's not like you can just, like, book a cruise, because that's not happening.
That definitely wasn't happening.
And it's just like, how do I feel better? And so it was a long time of funk. And not only that, but, like, you take that therapy level to the whole other, 10th degree, and holy shit. Because everyone's miserable. Nobody's enjoying this.
Nobody was happy.
So everyone that sat in your chair was just like, ugh.
Vomit,
and
everything.
then you just take it. You take it all.
Yeah.
And you're like, but everything's
and you feel with them, and you try to, like,
Oh, God. Emotional dumpster.
Gosh, I'll never forget.
It's crazy.
That, because that's, like, when I was first opening. So it was, like, a whole new world to me. And then, like, all new clients all of a sudden, and I was like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. Send help, Liz.
I don't know how. I need help too.
I'm going to be over here. We'll just look at each other from afar.
Yeah. Blow kisses through our masks that you can't see. Like,
that you cannot see. But I mean, I feel like those are all really good, really, really good points to set your boundaries. Also set your boundaries with who you work for.
Absolutely.
Because...
And know your worth. And whether that's for your clients or for your employers or whatever.
Because people will take advantage of you. It's happened to us. Yep. And so it's just if you feel like it's wrong, it's probably wrong.
Absolutely. And there's, a fine line between like being accommodating and, being the little bit of a chameleon that we are to like form your personality based on whoever's in your chair. It's a really terrible skill that I appreciate a lot in myself.
I'm weirdly so good at it.
I know. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because,
Thank God we don't change colors.
That's true. Although...
I kind of guess I do.
You love it. Oh, gosh. But it's like, you want to make everybody happy, but you got to make yourself happy at the same time. And if you don't...
First, I think.
First and foremost, because... It's just like a relationship. You can't make anybody happy if you yourself aren't happy
first.
And I think the flip side of that too is that you have to teach people how to treat you. And it doesn't have to be terrible or rude or shitty, but like if it goes right back to boundaries. As long as you lay the, foundation
lay it out,
what you expect and what you appreciate and things like that, then it's a little bit easier, but you gotta learn that shit the hard way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I say or how many people listen to this or
true,
whatever. Like
true.
You'll figure it out.
Especially if you were like 19-year-old me or 23-year-old me or 24.
Or like yesterday. Yeah.
Wait, what? You told me not to do that? Oh, sorry. Break the rules. However, with that being said, we are both looking for booth runners.
That's true. I have a booth open in June 1st.
Yeah.
Wow, that's soon.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to be part of a rad team where we help you grow if you're not already had your business or want advice or anything else, we don't just throw you to the wolves. We kind of lead you.
We guide you.
We guide you.
We guide you with all of our mistakes that we've learned from.
Yes, and it works out pretty damn well.
It does.
And then what else do we have? Is there anything else? Oh.
I don't know. You have your event coming up.
Ooh, Earth Day. Earth Day, April 22nd, which is everybody's pretty much a part of. We are going to have 2 food trucks, Unami Dogs, and then Noel Vang's, Vang Sushi's. They have their rice truck. That's going to be there. I'm going to eat all the hot dogs and all of the rice. And then he's also going to make sure that he has sushi on the truck too, because his sushi truck was booked. Noel Vang and I grew up together. And then Miles Mulkey, he will be playing music. And we're going to have, I think, anywhere from 17 to 22 vendors over on our side. And we are raising money for each vendor paid a little fee. And it was more like a donation. And it's going towards Back Bay Wildlife Refuge and to aid another because it is Autism Awareness Month. And then... we are going to have all kinds of local vendors showing off their stuff, selling things. So huge, we like to support local. And we are going to be doing a trash pickup that morning. So that'll be a lot of fun. Photographers will be there. It's going to be a pretty cool event. Hopefully we're getting Wavy TV 10 in there or something.
What's up?
That might be a thing. Not sure. Don't quote me. Maybe take that out just in case they don't.
Or send it to them.
Yeah.
Just be like,
hey, we gave you a plug. So, it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be in our parking lot. We'll have all the vendors and everything posted soon. And if that goes well, I plan on having more things like this to help raise money for anything, really. We just try to find good things to raise money for and support and love and give back.
Giving back rocks.
It really does.
Yeah.
Makes you feel kind of good too. Like, we did that.
Leaving our mark on the world.
Trying.
Yep.
Crushing that mean girl shit too at the same time.
Yes. So now that we've wrapped who we are as businesses and who we are as people, that concludes the introductory section of
Enough about us.
Yeah, exactly. No more.
Yeah. On to everyone else.
Exactly. So next episode will be the real thing, and we're going to be
super excited
having
about
guests, and we'll talk about, how we can bridge the gap between rivalry and success. Hashtag
it. Wait. Hashtag it.
Yep, something along those lines. All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining us. Have an amazing day.